And I was also going to mention, Bruce, that as these meetings go on and as more people get migrated off of the legacy network onto the ESInet, I guess it shouldn't be too surprising to us that the participation goes down. But I would encourage people to continue participating even after you've migrated, so that you're aware of any other problems that might come up or have come up in other PSAPs, so you can be watching for those, as well as to be part of the discussion going forward when we start talking about what comes next after the migration.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Okay, Cindy, do you want to start with the migrated PSAPs and go through any outstanding issues that you're still dealing with or that you've cleared up?
Sure. We had 15 PSAPs we migrated in September. So Larimer County wrapped up El Paso, Lincoln, Cheyenne Wells, Vail finally, yay! Poor Vail was hanging for months with a variety of challenges in the testing there. Open issues, we've had some, obviously the voice issues, quality issues at Denver, where they were seeing a lot of static and crosstalk there that we've worked through. To the best of my knowledge, there was some changes made on the circuit configurations there, and I haven't had any more reports of issues there. We had transfer issues at Arapahoe and Adams County, and again, I haven't heard any more reports, Bruce. I don't know if you have any more with Arapahoe County specifically. I believe it was just the one PSAP at Arapahoe County Sheriff that we had issues with off-net.
I'm trying to set up another test for them to double check it. They're going to coordinate with Grand Junction and Buckley to have that happen again here this week, I hope.
Yeah. And then we have an open issue with transfers at Summit. And these are specifically when they're doing an admin transfer and they're attempting to transfer to the CSP. They are occasionally getting to Larimer County instead. And what we're seeing in the ESInet specifically is the Larimer County star code. So it looks like something happening specifically at Summit County, but we have to do more investigation there because it's intermittent. It's not happening every time. It is on the admin transfers, and it happens both when they use a pre-programmed button and when they manually dial it, according to the contacts there.
If I may be mistaken, but I thought it was if they have a 911 call and then they try to transfer it to a 10 digits. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I believe so. And that's one of the questions I wanted to confirm with them is it's not an admin call that they're trying to transfer to admin, but it's on their 911 line that they're attempting to transfer to the admin line at the State Patrol.
Right. Yeah, that's
but the examples we've gotten so far, what the team is able to see in the call detail records is the star code for Larimer County Sheriff coming in, which is, it's just, I don't know if it's one specific CPE dispatch station that this is happening at. So I think we need to dig into some more details to try and find some pattern to the behavior so that we can get it resolved.
Okay. Okay. And then I see there's still a note on the tracker about the alley cable issue at Chafee. Is that still being worked out?
We have the alley cable. It's ready to go. It's just a matter of getting a test window where we can make the change on alley and cut the site over. The techs have the new cables. We're confident in the pinout. It's ready to go. We just need, and we've got the request in. The team knows that it's high on our list to get that 30 minutes so that we can actually cut the alley at Chafee.
This is Daryl. Is there anybody on the call from Denver today? But Cindy, you think that the voice quality issues at Denver have been resolved?
Yeah, I have not heard any more reports of issues since the changes that we made.
Okay.
Daryl, do you have the contact information for the new director at Denver to invite him to these calls?
I do, and he has been invited.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I will say that I did talk to our knock and one of the managers there, and he did actually call Denver to chat with them, and said that they hadn't really had any more issues. There'd been one issue with some static, but they hadn't. In his conversation with them, they didn't have any ongoing issues.
Bruce and
So
Daryl,
I'll ask them to follow up again. Sorry, go ahead.
Bruce and Daryl, this is Monica. I made sure that Andrew and Jennifer had all of the contact information for all of the groups that they needed to be participating in when I met with them on Monday.
Well, good. Thank you, Monica.
Okay, thanks. All right, so Cindy, do you want to take us through our the rest of the migration schedule and what's going on there?
So we have Kit Carson scheduled for this afternoon. That site we've completed all of the pre-migration testing at. We put a pause on actually cutting them because they needed to work through some issues with the recording there. But that issue has been resolved and we're on track to cut. I believe I have that scheduled for 1:30 this afternoon. So we're good with that site. After that, we have Grand Junction on the schedule. Again,
Cindy, can we just see if there's any? Can we just check to see if Kit Carson's on the line and if they have any questions or comments? I guess not. Okay, yeah, go ahead. I just want to give them an opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah, Grand Junction we have for the 27th. It is pending the SIP licenses at Garfield, which I have not heard a date from yet. I know when we talked on Monday, they were waiting for, I think, for Converge 1 to confirm when those could be installed, that they had everything, they just needed to get installed. So I'm hopeful there.
Okay, Jennifer, are you on the line? Do you have any comments or concerns?
This is Daryl. I don't see Jennifer, but Carl Stevens is on the line. Carl, do you have any updates on the SIP licenses?
We do not. We actually have the licenses. We just need to schedule to get them installed. We do have a call today at 3 with Converge 1. So we should be able to get more information.
Great.
Awesome. Thanks, Carl.
And I do want to say I've got, there are a couple of updates. Sorry, that doesn't look like are in here. Blackhawk and Blackhawk is scheduled for the 20th. And Gilpin, the 21st, I believe. So we are proceeding with the installs there the 15th and 16th of this week, so tomorrow and Friday. So those are actually the next two after Kit Carson scheduled to migrate.
Okay, do we have any questions from those PSAPs or authorities? Okay.
Then we have Grand and Route. Those dates are definitely in yellow. The CallWorks testing in lab has not been completed. And I believe the testing that was supposed to occur today has been postponed. And they're looking at a date next week for that, which is obviously going to make it really difficult to get that software released and installed. in time to meet the 29th date. So I'm waiting for more updates on that, but I think those dates for Grand and Route are in jeopardy. And I know Jason with Route County was on an email chain with Motorola this morning, so he's aware that testing has been delayed.
Okay, do we have any questions or comments from Route or Grand? I think I saw Jason on the line for sure.
Yeah, I am on the line. I don't have any questions. As Cindy said, Jeff Tucker with Motorola had sent us an email this morning letting us know what the issue was, and Cindy responded, and Wes Horn as well. And they've got Intrado, hopefully a fire under them to make sure that they participate in that testing next Wednesday, which is when it's scheduled for the 21st. Hopefully, shortly after that, we'll be able to keep things moving forward. So I appreciate CenturyLink being Lumen, whatever they are now, being willing to rearrange things to make this work for us so that we can hopefully go ahead and migrate with SIP instead of PGM. That would be our wish. So anyway, thanks, Cindy, for you guys being diligent.
Yeah, and in the meantime, I think I sent an email yesterday looking for some information just on the assumption we're moving forward with SIP so that I can get that over to the Intrado team to get those routers programmed. IP information and whether we're going with BGP or static routes.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
let them answer that. Hopefully, one of their engineering can get on that pretty quick. For you.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is Wes. I
Yeah,
understand from Jeff it's loaded remotely, so I know it's coming down to a fine wire on all these things coming together, but I trust it can stay on track if Intrado does that testing on the 21st.
Yeah, I mean, if we can get Motorola to give us the IP information, I think we can push forward with the installs that we need to do, assuming we're going to go SIP at these PSAPs, which I think is the direction everyone wants to go. We need to reinstall route, pull out that PGM equipment. So I'd like to push forward with those projects to get the right equipment in place at both sites. So I just need to get that IP information on both sites so that we can get the equipment provisioned and in the hands of the installers to go out there and get it set up. I don't want to wait until the 22nd or 23rd because we won't be able to make the 29th if we wait until then to get everything over so that they can get equipment set up.
And do we know what the holdup was with the testing this week?
I think they're doing a moratorium so they can review processes and look at things.
Okay.
If this has
Make
been
sure
a
that
problem
change process is locked in.
if this has been a problem with this testing, it would be helpful if the PUC staff, contacted them and just expressed an interest, kind of the regulation by raised eyebrow kind of, we want to make sure this is going forward.
Who are you suggesting I contact, Joe? Motorola?
Wherever the holdup is, whether it's Motorola and Intrado or even both of them, and just say that, this is important for the thing going forward. Please keep you advised of the status and outcome of the testing. Just a note like that might light more of a fire under them to make sure they get it done.
Okay. Cindy, I'll call you offline when we're out of this meeting and talk about where you feel like attention might be appropriate, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, and I was assured that this was escalated at the highest levels this morning, and that they're aware of the issues, our concerns, and the potential impact and urgency of getting this done to the project. But we can chat, and I can give you some contact names if you want to add in.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
And I see we have a chat. I'm sorry, go ahead, Wes.
Yeah, Daryl, it is being escalated on multiple levels here to the highest level. And Joe, this is on Entrada, not on Motorola on this one. Just so you know.
I see we have a question on chat. Do you think Jeff has received anything? I'm not sure what exactly that means.
Hey, this is Jason. I just responded. That's Chief Hallsworth from Grant County. Jeff Bachman was involved in the email string, was included in the email string of all the communications this morning and yesterday. So he's aware of what's going on as well. And I think the importance there was trying to get Route and Grant migrated at the same time because we're sharing systems there. That's where we're at. Yes, Jeff is aware.
Okay, thanks, Jason.
Hey, Wes, I'm getting a lot of background noise from your line, so I'm going to mute you until you need to speak again.
Yeah, understood. Thanks.
He's driving.
All right, Cindy, what's next? Are we?
Then we have Garfield, and again, Garfield and Grand Junction are tied. Once Grand Junction is deployed, we will have completed testing with Garfield. It'll just be a matter of active.
Okay.
Cut date. So that's why they're on the 5th, but these guys are a multi-node set. So the ESInet will essentially be up and live with Grand Junction. It'll just be a matter of swinging the traffic for Garfield at that point.
Okay.
And I believe the equipment was installed at Garfield already. So we should be on track.
Okay. Carl, can you confirm that that was installed?
I believe it was. Somebody was here, I think, last week or the week before doing stuff.
Okay. Then Cindy, on Pueblo, I see that Motorola and C1 have requested 11/10 migration date. Have you been able to secure resources for that?
Yes. Yeah, we've scheduled that date in. That was it was the only option we had from the sound of things for Motorola support.
Okay.
So we've got that scheduled with all of our technical teams right now.
Okay. And do we have anybody with Pueblo on the line?
This is Shauna from Pueblo. That date works for us, and they're going to do the config to the phone tomorrow with C1 and Motorola, so we should be ready to go.
Okay, thanks, Shauna. Cindy, do we want to go any further at this point, or should we move to the issues tracker?
I just had one thing, and I don't know that anyone's on from Western Colorado Regional.
Yeah, Mandy's on the line.
We just had a quick question following up with Wes and team. I believe we're not deploying the backup site. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes, Cindy, that's correct.
Okay.
And Matt and I both responded to you, letting you know that.
Okay.
But yeah, we're not transitioning the backup site.
Oh, that's good, because we didn't order circuits to the backup site.
Yeah,
I just wanted to make sure that that was on purpose and not an oversight.
No, it was on purpose, and the circuits here at Primary have been installed. So we are scheduled, our testing is scheduled, I believe. Everything is scheduled in our cut over for 11/11 at 0400.
Yes, and you're working with Brian, is it, to do a conversion to your ALIC format in the next?
Yeah,
I have a calendar invite for that. It's coming up here soon.
it is. It's next Wednesday, the 21st.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's
So
when
yeah, we're on track with everything.
Yep. So he'll come in and reprogram, 8-digit to 10-digit star. Also going to go from the 33 alley to the 37 alley so we can get that confidence factor.
Okay. So the only thing I wanted to give folks a heads up for if they're on the phone. So Western Colorado CSP Moffett, and I think, okay, we have boxes that are going to be shipped in the next day or two to you that contain some equipment CenturyLink will need to install. So there are the EX1 Expo probes and the new Make Busy switch that will get installed. It's program specific to your PSAP, so we prefer to just ship it to your site and have the tech get it there so it doesn't get, we don't get the wrong stuff at the wrong place. So you'll be getting boxes from CenturyLink to your PSAP sites. They're relatively small boxes, I believe. Just to make sure we have everything in place there. And then once we know the boxes are on site, we'll schedule the tech to come out and install that on the ESInet equipment.
Can you go ahead and repeat those three things so we can make sure that we see that? Sometimes we've had some shipping issues.
Yeah, so it's a relatively small box that will contain 2 Expo probes and a new Make Busy switch.
Okay.
As well as the equipment to install it and plug it in.
Okay. Perfect.
And then
Thank
just
you.
going back to look, so Grand County, Garfield County, Western Colorado Regional, and CSP Moffett. And for Moffett County, there'll be an additional couple of DB9 connectors for the alley cables at your site that will also be in the box. Western Colorado, you're on a Vesta, so we don't need those connectors for your site. Ryan should have everything he needs to make the alley cables for your site. But that's everything I had if we want to.
Okay. There were a couple of things for Arapahoe that I wanted to bring up. The Make Busy at the sheriff's office, where are we at with that?
With moving it?
I've never received any information about the charges or what the status is of the installation. We don't have the Make Busy. The sheriff's office is a remote site, so we don't have a
remote,
Make Busy.
Hey, Bruce, this is Wes.
Yeah.
I discussed that with Kevin yesterday afternoon, and we are going to address that. So.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I am aware of it. So that pad will be placed.
The order was submitted. Yeah.
Okay. The only other thing that I'm curious about is, and for everybody involved to be aware of, that we are upgrading our Viper hardware, just doing a refresh on our hardware. But in order to minimize our downtime, we're re-IPing the new Viper hardware. And CenturyLink has told us that that's going to be another migration. So there will be a project and costs associated with that. I haven't seen what those costs are, but I don't know. Cindy, do you know where that's at as far as a quote? Because we're coming up on that pretty quickly.
Right. I've got requests in with Wes and with Intrado. Basically, we're going to need to open a project with Intrado to get new URIs built. Which was a request I had from Converge One, was actually assign new URIs to each of your PSAPs there. Mm-hmm. So we are in the process of getting that quote from them. And I spoke to Sherry right before this call about getting together with them this afternoon just to talk through the details. But we have started the process for that, and I've been escalating to get that quote information for you. I did warn her that we've got a moratorium on changes right now. So
what's the moratorium now?
So it's the one we talked about on Monday. We have to get exceptions for each change. So any changes right now on the network, on the ESInet require a change exception. Right now, we're not getting those change exceptions. Kit Carson was approved to migrate today because it's already been fully tested. I can't make any more changes until this moratorium lifts. So I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get commitments on dates because I don't know when that moratorium is going to lift. The dates for next week for Blackhawk and Gilpin are at risk. I'm hoping that this gets lifted, and we have escalated this. But I did have that conversation with Sherry, and I know Bruce, she was going to reach out to you. She might not have had a chance to catch you before the call because it was literally 2 minutes before this call. But I did give her that heads up as well.
So Cindy, and I apologize because I wasn't able to be on the call Monday. And for those that on this call that weren't, what do you know what the moratorium is about? What the reason is they're giving for this moratorium?
It's related to the incident from a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
Right. So this is, Cindy, correct me if I'm wrong, Intrado has initiated this moratorium while they investigate the multi-state outage they had. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And I asked you on Monday that, you know, if there was any indication of how long that moratorium was going to last. And it sounds like you haven't gotten any more information on that since then.
No, I did have a meeting this morning, and they don't have a date yet.
Okay. If that drags on for a long time, that's going to be a problem for all of us.
Yeah.
So hopefully they'll get that straightened out.
And then we have definitely, trust me, they're sick of hearing from me. they're sick of hearing from me because I've been escalating pretty much daily the urgency of it with the upcoming known moratoriums on changes around holidays.
Right.
The projects, the federal grant funding, and the fact that we need to get things moving and done before the end of the year. We don't want to stack all this up to do in January and February.
Mm-hmm.
And Bruce, I know your project with that Viper change is urgent with an end of year date as well. So it's definitely at the top of the list to get you the resources you need for that project.
Okay, thank you. And of course I understand that's kind of out of your hands. You can escalate it, but it's still something in their hands, not yours.
Yeah, I just don't want to blindside you with that. That's why I haven't committed on the dates. Is I don't want to falsely promise that I can commit to those dates until I know that we're really going to be able to commit to those dates.
Yeah, even without the dates, I'd sure like to see that quote.
Yeah, and I'm pushing.
Okay. Okay. Do we want to move on to the open issues, Daryl? I guess discussion items, they don't have to be an issue.
Whoa.
Uh-oh.
Well, that's interesting. Someone moved it.
We don't have any issues. He threw it all away.
Someone moved the document to trash.
I'm sure accidentally.
Probably. I hope. Deployment tracker. Let me try that again.
Is Kimberly the owner?
Yes.
Okay.
She might have replaced it with another version, and I didn't get that updated on the website.
Maybe. Okay, it looks like we can use it anyway.
Okay.
Daryl, if you're able to see that a little better than I can, if you wouldn't mind walking us through it, it's a little bit small.
Sure, and I can blow it up a little bit too. Unfortunately, it's not going to all fit on the screen at once.
You select Spotlight in your settings, it'll help.
What's that?
If you select Spotlight view in your settings layout.
Yeah. On your on the Google Meet screen, everyone can choose to select Spotlight as your screen layout, and it'll make the shared screen bigger. Some of these I think are just on here to keep track of. I don't know that they're really issues at this time. You know, like the first item on here, item number 73, says it was about Aurora being the global default. Now that we have Denver on, I've wondered if it's necessary for Aurora to keep being the global default, if maybe Denver being the largest PSAP in the state might be more appropriate. But since we don't have Denver on the line, I don't know that we can really talk about that today. Item 84 is about the pad devices at Bretsa.
Mm-hmm.
Cindy, do you have any updates on that? Has that all been taken care of, or is that still what the status of that is?
I haven't got an actual request to do remote pads at Bretsa yet. I can reach out to them and see. At the time, we didn't have a process, but that has since been worked out and the agreements have been completed. So I can reach out to Bretsa and see if they're at a point now where they want to order pads for the PD and CU, I believe, for the concerns.
And I think I saw that Patty was on the line from Bretsa.
As is Joe.
Yeah, I'm on. It would probably be a good idea. I ask about every week if they want to make that request and get those in. So they still aren't letting anybody in the PSAPs as of at least 2 weeks ago. So, but it probably wouldn't hurt to reach out and at least get them ordered.
In the meantime,
yeah, because we would need to order a circuit to each site to support that, and then install the equipment. So there would definitely be some access needed to complete that.
So since this is essentially on the Bretsa side now to either request it or not request it, does this need to remain on the tracked issues page or discussion item page? Does anybody have an opinion as to whether it needs to stay on or not? I'll leave it on for now. Next item is item number 90. CallWorks CPE needs to test Intrado ESInet lab. This is being worked out between the two vendors. Per our weekly calls, this is the latest status that Kimberly added. Cindy is going to set up a call with CallWorks, PSAP, Motorola, CenturyLink, and ESInet officers. I think you talked a little bit about this earlier, but could you give us any more updates on the status of those efforts?
We had that call a couple months back. Okay. So that call happened, and they have done the first round of lab testing. There was just an open issue, and my understanding, one test case that still needed to be passed. And it's that one, getting a test window for that one test case that's been delayed.
Okay. Any questions on that one for Cindy?
Hey, Wes, these are yours.
Yeah. I think these are really meant just to keep them on the radar so that people are aware of them. Beth, any changes to the change fee regarding what's been talked about earlier in case there's a change after the migration at a PSAP?
No, I think we're still, and this was mainly to address the CallWorks issue and knowing that we need to get these PSAPs deployed for that federal funding. If we have to deploy them PGM, waiving the fee to convert to SIP, as long as it happens within a reasonable period of time. Right. We'd waive that conversion fee.
And then we have the issue of double billing in a couple of places due to the voice calls coming in on the ESInet, but the alley coming in over the legacy network. So you're actually using both services at the PSAP at the same time. Wes, is this affecting anyone right now that you're aware of?
I think the Converge one for Douglas County is the only one that's in question at this point.
Okay.
If that's correct, is that correct, Cindy?
I believe so.
Of course, there's also a 6-month moratorium on charges for the ESInet after you migrate. So if you're still in that 6-month moratorium, you shouldn't be getting billed for both, but you might not get a full 6-month moratorium between the two billing types if your alley is still coming in over the legacy network.
Right, and I know we did give a 30-day window to get that conversion complete.
Mm-hmm.
So I frankly don't know that it's even an issue at Douglas right now, even though we're a little bit outside that 30-day window.
Okay.
Because to deal with the billing and make sure we're not double billing, I am submitting a request the day you migrate to have the legacy billing stopped, even though we haven't removed or disconnected services.
Mm-hmm.
Because of that transition from one tariff to the other. Our new process is that probably before you even get the email that I cut the PSAP, I've submitted an email asking to have those billing pieces terminated under the old tariff or shut off.
Okay. And the last, oh no, it's not the last thing. Item number 93, though, is CGIS. Last word we had was you reach out to Intrado to make sure all of the installers are cleared for CGIS. Did you get any pushback from Intrado on that? Were they amenable to that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think we could probably check that off unless anybody reports any additional issues then. Is everyone okay with that? Not hearing any objections, we'll check that one off. We can always uncheck it later if there's another issue that comes up regarding that. Item 94 is CTL and Intrado in coordination. We are still hearing concerns about the two companies tracking together on the project dependencies, who's doing what. Does CTL have a dedicated project manager with Intrado for this project? This was added a couple of months ago. So we've addressed it since then at one of these calls. Cindy, can you tell me, what if anything has been done regarding this issue?
So this, I believe, was specific to when installers were showing up and when they were sometimes late to sites without notice.
I think you're correct.
Or things had shifted around. Yes, we do have dedicated program management with them and have been closely coordinating and confirming what time the installers will actually be on site and getting more of a window instead of saying they're going to be there right at 9 o'clock, probably between 9 and 10, or depending on how far the site is away for travel time. But making sure we clear up that communication with the PSAP and share more of that with them so that folks aren't standing around waiting.
Just don't be like some cable providers and tell us you're going to be there in a window between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m.
No, and show up at 6.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, I think we'll just leave that on there so we can just ask at future meetings if anybody else has had any issues with that. But otherwise, that's really all you can do. A recommendation for a conference call with Solacom, CTL, ESInet users group officers so that we could work through Solacom deployments in advance of the schedule. I don't think that has happened. Do we still need, is that still an advisable recommendation? Do we need to do that?
Well, there aren't any Solacom.
We only have one
things on the radar.
Solacom PSAP left.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if we need to all get together, talk about that
Pueblo
one
PD.
PSAP, we can.
Yeah. Pueblo PD, which is scheduled for January, is the only other Solacom on the schedule. So we can certainly look to have a conference call with Pueblo and Solacom to make sure everything's on track there.
Okay. Same thing about Westel. Do we need a breakout session to talk specifically about Westel migrations?
No, we cleared our first Westel PSAP, so everything's working there with Clear Creek. And actually the two scheduled for next week, Blackhawk and Gilpin, are Westel. So we are moving forward with them. Everything seems to be on track.
If I can type.
Yeah, the 20th and 21st.
Okay, that's everything on the list.
Okay, thanks, Daryl. Does anybody have anything else that they want to bring up that hasn't already been discussed? What else do we have on the agenda, Daryl, that I'm forgetting? I think we've done.
Update on reporting tools for PSAP, migrated PSAPs.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Cindy, do you, I guess a little bit of an update is I did receive access from my PSAPs about a week or a week and a half ago. The interesting thing to me that I talked to Entrado about is I can see and pull information on any PSAP on the ESInet anywhere in the United States.
Okay. I don't think that's the way your access is supposed to be built.
Yeah, and I reported it to them. They said, well, no, we have you built to just show your PSAPs. And so I went back and looked again, and I can pull alley data or whatever I want for anywhere in the country.
Okay.
Well, Bruce, how are you going to use this power?
Yes, you're omniscient.
For good. It will be for good. Daryl, that might be something that we should add to the tracker just to keep up on. I'd be interested if anybody else that may be on the call has that access and has played around with it. Are you able to see the whole country?
And I haven't requested my access yet, so I can't tell you whether mine is showing up correct or not. Hopefully when I get mine, I should be able to see the state of Colorado, but nobody outside of that.
Right. I mean, I don't really care to go poking around in Arizona's information. It was just interesting that I could see that it was even listed there as an option.
I think you should call them up and let them know when their spikes are so they can prepare for it.
But that does bring up a good issue. I would like, now that more of you have gotten your accounts, to set up a training session to walk through those reports. And I don't know if maybe before or after next month's meeting would be a good time to do that.
Like tack it onto the tail end of the ESInet users group meeting.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea, because I feel like I must be missing something with what I can see for the type of reports. It just doesn't seem like there's a lot of data there. So I think maybe I'm just missing something. All right, Daryl, what else? I think we've done that.
We're down to open discussion, I believe.
Okay. Let's see. I think
Cameron Decker asks how long it took you to get your access after you applied or sent in your form.
Boy, I think it was less than a week, Cameron.
Cameron says
Hey,
he
I
requested his a couple
did
weeks.
mine a couple of weeks ago and I still haven't seen anything, Bruce. So just wondering if I need to follow up on that. I guess I will.
Probably so. Let
Have
me
you,
go ahead, Cindy.
I was gonna say, have you received the form from Entrado and filled it out and sent it back?
Yes, I had 3 accounts that I asked for to be set up, and I still haven't seen anything back from them.
Yeah, so you give us those names, we submit the request to Entrado, and they will actually email you a user agreement form and a form to set up your account, and those have to be completed before they'll create your account.
Okay, I'll get with you later, Cindy, just to make
Okay.
sure I get everything I needed to. Thanks.
Yeah, and that was from the time I filled out the form. I think it was less than a week. Okay, do we have any other concerns, questions from PSAPs or CenturyLink or PUC staff? Okay. How about anyone else that may not be with the PSAPs or any non-voting members that may have questions? Okay, sounds good. I think we have taken up enough of your time for today.
All right.
Everybody have a great week.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
You too.